Hello everyone! Today we're going to make some really fun Halloween recipes. I'm so excited to share them with you. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with this dark magic mocktail that is so easy to make and I think it is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to line our rim with purple sanding sugar. I just put it in some water first and then in the sanding sugar just to make it look pretty. You could use a variety of colors. It would look so gorgeous. And I got that from Whole Foods. I'll have the link in the description box down below. Then we're going to add blackberries and blueberries into a shaker, and I'm just going to use the back of a muddler to press out all of the juices, or as much as I can. And then we're going to add in some grape juice and ice cubes, and we're just going to shake this up. You can also do this in a blender if you want. It's totally your call. And then I just decided to put this all through a sieve because it was a little bit easier than using the shaker top. And if you want to, you could scoop in some of those berries into the drink. So once we've strained out all the liquid, I'm just going to fill my cup with ice, and then we will fill it almost to the top with the juice, and then we'll top it off with some seltzer. I did some blackberries on top so people would know what was in there, and a sprig of rosemary, and you light it on fire, and it is just the coolest thing to watch the smoke come through. I love it. This spooky 7-layer dip is such a fun and cute appetizer. I'm so excited to share it with you. So it's just typical 7-layer dip. We're going to start off with a can of refried beans. Make sure you're using ones that are vegan, and mine actually was already spiced and flavored. Some of them are, some of them aren't, so I didn't incorporate more spices. But if you want to mix in a packet of taco seasoning or add in some chili powder and salt and garlic powder and stuff, you definitely can. Because I could smell the seasonings in mine, I didn't feel like it was necessary. So I'm just taking a 9-inch pie plate and I'm just pushing the refried beans into the bottom of the pie plate to mix it around. Now it's 7-layer dip. Some people like to serve it warm, some people like to serve it at room temperature. I personally am somebody who likes when the bottom of the dip is warm, so I'm going to put this with vegan cheese into the oven to warm it up. So I'm just using the back of my spoon to really spread it out and get it as evenly distributed in the bottom of the pan as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just really kind of getting it all around, and it is kind of fun to smooth out with your spoon. Now for vegan cheeses, I'm using 2 different kinds. I'm using the jalapeno Havarti from Daya, and I'm going to use just some Violife Mexican blend shreds. I thought the 2 of them together would be fun, so I just kind of alternated between doing the Violife ones and the Daya ones, and the Daya ones I grated myself and I made them really fine, and the Violife ones are obviously bigger. And this was about a cup of vegan cheese. I just did half a cup of each of the vegan cheeses, and you don't have to put this in the oven if you don't want to, but I do like when you go into the dip and it's warm. So I put this in the oven, 350 Fahrenheit, for about 15 minutes. While that was in the oven, I worked on making some super simple and quick guacamole. Let's check out our avocado. It was a perfect one, so beautiful. So I emptied the avocado out, and then I did chili powder, garlic powder, and onion powder and salt, and then we did lime juice and just mash it up, keeping it super simple and minimal here. If you don't feel like making homemade guacamole, you can of course use store-bought and do it that way, but I do love making homemade guacamole and it's super easy. And I didn't even bother putting in any like chopped red onions or anything like that. If you want to, you definitely can. 7-layer dip is so easy to customize. I'm just trying to give you some fun Halloween ideas here. And then I'm going to slice up some cherry tomatoes. These are the sugar bomb tomatoes and they're so good. And I'm slicing up some black olives. Now we're going to make our little olive spiders. So leave about 5 to 7 olives aside. Don't slice those. And I'm going to cut them all in half the long ways, and part of these are going to be our little spider bodies, but then the other ones I'm going to cut in half, and then I'm going to make slices, and these are going to be our little spider legs. And of course each spider is going to need 8 legs, so just make sure you're kind of counting and making sure you have enough legs for your spiders. And if you don't want to make olive spiders, you could just throw on some little plastic spiders and they'll be just as cute. Then I'm going to take a cup of salsa, spread that around on top. Again, go in with what you like, mild, medium, hot. I did use a more mild one because I just feel like if you are serving it at a party, it kind of just generally goes better to do a mild one, but it's totally your call. And I'm just going to spread that all the way out over our vegan cheese. Next up, we're going to go in with the guacamole. We're going to pop that on top and just spread it around. Now, I thought it would look really nice to have our spider web be on top of the green, but if you don't want that, you could do the salsa on top. You could do vegan cheese on top. It's like your call, but I just thought the green against the white would be a nice contrast, and it was very easy to pipe on to the guacamole because it's very sturdy. So it's totally your call. And I also did not spread the guacamole all the way around. I did leave a little ring around the edge just because I don't know, I kind of felt like it. I just felt like it will be better that way. And plus I decorated the edge of the dish anyway. You'll see in a few seconds here how we keep going forward. Now I'm actually using vegan Greek style yogurt from Foragers, and I put this in a Ziploc bag with a thin piping tip, but you could also just snip the corner of the bag. And I made a cute little spider web, and then I took the extra and went all the way around, and it was so adorable. And then I put my olives and my tomatoes on, and then I looked at the web and I found 3 little spots to put 3 little spiders. So I put their little bodies down, and then I just laid the legs out. And it was in this moment that I did wish I had food tweezers, because it just would have made everything so much easier. But come on, how cute are these? They're so adorable. And I just think this is so fun. Anybody can make this. It's super easy. You don't have to be an amazing decorator. My spider web was not perfect at all, and I think it looks so cute. And you could have fun. Do green onions, jalapenos, add what you like, but it's beautiful, it's delicious, and tastes so good. I say to serve this with a fun chip like a blue corn tortilla chip, so it looks a little extra Halloween-y, and so good, so fun, and so delicious. These homemade candy bars are really easy to make, and they come out so beautiful. So we're going to first start off by making a date caramel. So we just need a bunch of pitted medjool dates, and we're going to soak them in hot water for about 20 minutes. Set those to the side. We're going to work on melting some vegan chocolate. I'm using the Enjoy Life dark chocolate morsels. Melt at 30-second intervals in the microwave and mix. And then once it is getting nice and smooth, we're going to add in some vegetable oil. This will help to thin the chocolate to make it much easier to spread within the silicone molds. You could use any neutral oil that you like. I got these molds online. I'll have a link in the description box down below for you. And we're just going to pour in some of that vegan chocolate, and we're going to spread it all around into the whole mold. You want to do this really, really well, and you want to get all the sides. Be patient with this step because this is your whole candy bar outside. So if you're missing a lot of spots, then you're going to have maybe some issues when you bite into it or whatever. So be very patient with coating these walls. Look at it from a few angles. Make sure that you got everything really well. And then once you get everything coated, we're going to pop this into the fridge for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long it takes for the chocolate to set. You can throw it also in the freezer if you like. I did mine in the fridge for 20 minutes and it was totally fine. And I tried making this without a silicone mold the first time, and I have to say, it really just didn't work. The mold really is the way to go. So then I took the dates out of the water, put them in my blender, added some vanilla extract, a little salt, and then we're going to take about 3 tablespoons of the water that we used to soak the dates, and we're just going to blend them up until it gets nice and smooth. You may need to add in a little more water. You may need to help your blender out and just move some things around. But oh my goodness, if you've never made date caramel, it's so good. It is so delicious. So try not to eat all of this before we make our candy bars. Next part is that we're going to make an almond flour shortbread. So we need almond flour, maple syrup. You can add in a little vanilla extract if you like, and some water. And we are just going to mix this up. And this is also so good. I love almond flour like this. It's like cookie dough. I mean, it is so delicious. So our chocolate is set, and we are going to scoop about 2 tablespoons. If we're being precise, it was 26 grams of the date caramel into each of the little cavities of the mold. And I like to scoop them all out, make sure everyone has enough, and then I just kind of spread it around. Then I took the almond flour shortbread, and it's actually the same, about 2 tablespoons, and I just kind of rolled it into a ball and then pressed it into a log shape, and then that made it easier to press within the candy bar. So that's what you do. You know, it's a little messy, but it's fun, and you're making homemade candy with some really awesome ingredients, so it's really, really good. And then once you get everything in there, then you'll finish off with more chocolate on top to seal up our bar. And then once it's all coated, you will pop these back in the fridge for about an hour or until you're ready to eat them, but you want to let them have a good time to chill and really harden up, because if you try to pull these out of the mold before they're ready, then you're going to break the bar. So let it sit, let it have its time. When it is time to take them out, very carefully push them out and just be slow and gentle, and they should come out beautiful. And I was so excited pulling these out of the mold. I was like, oh my goodness, they look so pretty. Now to decorate, I melted some vegan semi-sweet chocolate, and I drizzled that on top because I love the contrast of the 2 browns, and a little bit of a pink salt on top, and that's it. These are done. They're beautiful. They're delicious. I would keep them stored in the fridge or the freezer, and I of course have to show you the inside of them. I love the almond shortbread and the date caramel. It's so delicious. It's so good. You've got to try these. If you grew up eating smiley fries, then these Halloween smiley fries are going to be so perfect for you. They're so fun and they're so adorable. So I started off by taking 4 Yukon Gold potatoes. I peeled them and I just cut them into pieces, and we are going to steam these. So I'm going to pop them in my steamer basket and we're going to steam them on high for 20 minutes. We want the potatoes to be nice and fork tender. This was about 15 minutes into cooking and they were getting there, but they still just needed a few more extra minutes. So that 20-minute mark really was the sweet spot for getting them to the right level of cooking. Then once they're all done, we're going to mash them up with the back of a fork. You can also use a potato ricer. You can press them through a sieve if you want, but I was totally fine to mash them up with the back of a fork. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time and it definitely takes elbow grease to get them as smooth as you can get them, but it's fine. It's easy. And if you don't have other kitchen tools for mashing the potatoes, then this is your choice. That's what you're going to do. And steaming the potatoes makes them not take on a lot of water. You don't want to boil them. You would much rather steam them. So after I got them to a good place consistency wise, it was time to add in some other ingredients. So we're going to go in with cornstarch. We're going to do some seasonings. I did garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and we're going to go in with some breadcrumbs. Some of these breadcrumbs were seasoned and some were just regular panko. So there was paprika in the seasoned one. So it kind of gave the potatoes an orangey color, which works really well here for Halloween. But if you make it without any paprika in there, they will be more on the white side rather than the orange side. So you're just going to mix all of this up together to essentially make a dough. This is kind of what we're going for. We want a potato dough. And if you do it with the back of the fork, there may be some lumps. I don't really care about the lumps, but if it's really bothering you, then don't use the back of a fork to mash up the potatoes. Get a potato ricer or something and just really carefully mix everything up until it forms a dough. I cut the dough in half. I put half of it in the fridge. You're going to work with half of it at a time. And I'm just dusting everything with cornstarch. I'm going to roll it out. You can make these as thick or as thin as you like. If you make it too thin, it's going to be a pain to get it off the board. So don't make it super thin, but you can make them, half an inch to an inch. It really depends. I have 2 cookie cutters, pumpkin and ghost, and I just went to town making our little shapes. They're so adorable and it's so fun. And if you have kids who like to cook, this is a great activity to get them involved in because they can very easily use cookie cutters to cut things out. And once I cut out as many shapes as I could, then it was time to re-roll the dough. So that's what you'll do. You'll just keep re-rolling the scraps, cutting out more shapes until you've used all of it. And really towards the end, I just started to even push the dough into the cookie cutter itself. Now we're going to make some little faces. The best way to do this is to use the bottom of a straw. And it's so fun because you could give them frowny faces, the straight faces, you could give them smiley faces. For the little ghosts, I just did 3 little circles. So it kind of like a ooh expression. And these are adorable. And you could just see me here making all the rest of them. This was again only half of the dough, so then I had another half of dough to do off camera. Sprayed generously, very generously with oil because these are going to go baked. So these are going in the oven 425 Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes until they come out like this. And how cute are they? Now, of course, if you want to deep fry them, you can, but I just thought throw them in the oven. You could probably air fry them as well, but they came out so cute. I was so happy with them, so adorable, and pair them with your favorite dipping sauce. And yeah, so these were my Halloween recipes for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the description box for everything you want to know, and I'll see you soon with more videos. Bye!